Hello, I'm Neil Marchbanks. I'm a meteorologist by trade. I'm semi-retired. I continue to work as an expert witness. I received my degree in atmospheric science from the University of Texas Tech, and then I got my master's degree in the University of Alaska in Anchorage, and I minored in mathematics. Here's one of my favorite publications, Astronomy Magazine, and in the January 2010 edition, there's a nice little article about have particles broken the speed limit? And they're talking about the Einstein's cosmic speed limit, the speed of light. Also last year, now this was 2010, the scientists down at the University of Texas at Brownsville have an article on the internet, Pulsar's burst moves faster than light. So there's been some indications by reasonably respected people that the speed of light has been broken. At CERN, when they came out with this announcement, they got a lot of flack from the world, science world. They went back and repeated the experiment, and they came out with the same results the second time. Since then, they've been badgered into admitting that they had bad wiring, and the bad wiring was the reason for the bad data. However, they're still in operation. Now, if they had bad wiring at CERN, just tear it down, throw it away, start over. If they've got bad wiring, every experiment that they've done since they began and every experiment that they will do, it's all in question. They're not doing that. They're continuing their operation. So somebody somewhere doesn't believe that wiring was bad. As a matter of fact, there's one of the professors from Texas Tech, it's over there now, and he says his work's very important. So we're going to have a lesson today on science and math. I'm going to build a little background information, then give the lesson and then prove it with some math at the end. Here's another publication, Astronomy Magazine. This is the current issue. Very good article on black holes. As early as the 1700s, people suspected that black holes existed. And they continued to work, gather data, trying to prove it. Einstein stated that black holes could not exist, did not and could not. He gave two reasons. First, he said that nature would not allow such a thing to happen. And second, it defied all current scientific mathematical thinking. Mainly, he meant that it defied his theory of relativity. For a black hole to exist, that means that there has to be enough gravitational attraction there that it doesn't allow light to escape. So the gravitational attraction is greater than the speed of light. Now, when people in the mid-90s, 1990s, decided that they really were, and they had proof, they said that black holes collapsed down to a singularity. Since then, they've given black holes size. They've even decided that every galaxy has a supermassive, almost every galaxy, has a supermassive black hole at its center. The supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy is called Sagittarius A star. And it is, I've watched over the years that they gave it a mass, and then they increased its mass, and they've increased it. Now it's up to about 4 million times the size of the sun, the mass of the sun. That's a huge black hole, and they do give it size. They give it a size of approximately, I think here he says about 17 times the distance across the sun. Here's another publication that I sometimes read. I don't read it all the time. This is the March 2009 issue. Make sure of that. 2009. They have Einstein on the front cover, and in red letters they have, "Was Einstein wrong?" It seems that Einstein's theory of relativity cannot handle a thing called entanglement. And there's no question that it doesn't handle it. I started studying the theory of relativity actually when I was in high school. I watched a program, Tim Conway, a comedian on I believe it was the Carol Burnett show, one night gave a little skit in a accentuated accent. Well, he asked, this woman was saying that her family had had some problems the night before. He says, what is it? You were discussing the theory of relativity? Well, the gist of the skit was that the common ordinary person could not understand the theory of relativity. So I began to study it. Not continuously, but I've studied it ever since then. A little here, a little there. I've read everything I could get my hands on about Einstein. I've read everything I could get my hands on about the theory of relativity. I even tried to go back and get Einstein's original work in German. The thing that I did find was that the theory of relativity is not original work. It's based on work by a fellow called Lorentz. And in about 1902, Lorentz received the Nobel Prize in Physics for his Lorentz transformations. Now, if you go onto the internet and look up Lorentz transformations, there's just page after page after page. The best one that I've found is most of them are just trying to dazzle you with their brilliance. What happened? Did we lose our screen?